The massive display screen on the bridge of the UES Defender filled with the alien commander's face. Admiral Thomas stood tall, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he faced humanity's first contact with the Galactic Empire. The alien's silver skin and glowing purple eyes might have seemed intimidating to some, but Thomas had spent 30 years preparing for this moment. "This is Admiral Thomas of the United Earth Defense Fleet. We welcome peaceful dialogue with the Galactic Empire," he said clearly, while his crew worked silently at their stations around him. The alien commander's laugh echoed through the bridge. "Peaceful dialogue. Your species has barely left its solar system. I am High Commander Vale of the Imperial Expansion Fleet. Submit to Imperial rule immediately, and we may find you useful as a worker race." Thomas took a deep breath. Intel had warned him the Empire might be arrogant, but this was worse than expected. "High Commander, with respect, we strongly advise against hostile action. Earth's defense capabilities are more advanced than you might assume." "Amusing," Vale replied, his purple eyes narrowing. "Your primitive sensors haven't even detected half of my fleet. We've conquered 1,000 worlds more advanced than yours." Behind Thomas, his weapons officer quietly reported that targeting solutions were locked on all visible Imperial ships. The Admiral gave a slight nod but kept his attention on the screen. "Commander Vale, we've studied alien technology for over 200 years. The crashed ships, the signals, the artifacts. We learned from them all. We're not the simple race you think we are." "Lies from a primitive species," Vale sneered. "Your metal ships still use chemical propulsion. We detect no energy shields, no quantum drives, no plasma weapons. You're barely past industrial age technology." Thomas allowed himself a small smile. The Empire's scans were seeing exactly what Earth wanted them to see. Decades of developing sensor-proof technology were paying off. "This is your final warning, Commander. Withdraw your fleet. Perhaps a demonstration is needed." Vale's image disappeared from the screen. "Multiple energy signatures from the Imperial fleet," called out the sensor officer. "They're targeting New Haven colony on Mars." Thomas's jaw tightened. "All ships, drop stealth protocols. Show them what they're really facing." Across the Earth fleet, advanced shield systems shimmed into visibility. Weapon ports opened, revealing technology that had been carefully hidden. The Empire was about to learn their first lesson about humans: never trust appearances. The Imperial ships launched their attack on the Mars colony, expecting to easily destroy the handful of dome structures. Instead, their energy weapons splashed harmlessly against shields far more advanced than anything the Empire possessed. The colony's defense grid activated, quantum-linked weapons emerging from hidden bunkers. Vale's face reappeared on the screen, his silver features showing the first traces of concern. "Impossible. Our scans showed no such defenses. We warned you," Thomas said simply. "Earth has been preparing for this moment since we found the first alien ship in 1947. We learned, we adapted, and we advanced. But we kept it hidden, waiting for the day someone like you would come." "This changes nothing," Vale snarled. "The Empire cannot be defeated by tricks and deception. All ships, full attack pattern." Thomas shook his head sadly. "All ships, execute defense pattern Alpha. Show them why they should have listened." The space around Mars lit up with weapons fire. Imperial ships launched their most devastating attacks, expecting an easy victory. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that had spent generations preparing for this exact scenario. Human ships moved with impossible agility, using maneuvers that the Empire's tactical computers insisted couldn't work. When the brief battle ended, 3 Imperial ships drifted powerless, their systems overwhelmed by weapons they'd never encountered before. The rest of the fleet held position, their commanders suddenly unsure about this supposedly primitive race. "Now then," Thomas said to the stunned Imperial commander, "shall we discuss that peaceful dialogue? Or does the Empire need another demonstration of why attacking Earth would be a very, very bad idea?" Vale's only response was a look of pure hatred as he cut the transmission. Thomas turned to his communications officer. "Send word to Earth. Tell them the Empire chose the hard way." He looked out at the stars, knowing this was just the beginning. May whatever gods they believe in help them, because we warned them to run. 3 days after the first battle at Mars, High Commander Vale made the decision that would change the Empire forever. His pride wounded and his authority questioned, he ordered an attack on the farming colony of New Hope on Europa, Jupiter's moon. He believed destroying an undefended target would teach these upstart humans their place. He was wrong. The Imperial battleships emerged from faster-than-light travel near Europa, their weapons charged. Vale watched from his command ship, expecting to see panic and fear from the small colony below. Instead, his tactical officer shouted in alarm, "Sir, multiple ships appearing from behind Europa's ice sheets. Hidden bases carved into Europa's thick ice opened like blooming flowers, releasing swarms of small, agile human fighters." These weren't the simple chemical-powered ships the Empire had detected earlier. These vessels moved like angry wasps, their hulls gleaming with technology that made Vale's silver skin pale. "Impossible," Vale whispered. "Their technology. It's all wrong. These aren't the same ships we scanned." On the lead human vessel, the UES Archangel, Captain Lisa watched her tactical display with cold satisfaction. "All ships, execute battle plan Thunder. Show them why you don't attack human civilians." The human fleet split into 3 groups, using attack patterns that seemed chaotic to Imperial tactical computers. The Empire's artificial intelligence systems, designed to predict enemy movements, failed completely against human pilots who mixed computer precision with unpredictable human intuition. "Their ships are too small to have real weapons," Vale insisted, even as the first human vessels opened fire. "All ships, standard defense formations." The Empire's shield generators hummed to life, creating the same energy barriers that had protected their ships for centuries. But human weapons simply passed through them, as if they weren't there. Quantum-tipped missiles phased through Imperial shields, materializing inside their hulls. Advanced AI viruses slipped past Imperial cybersecurity, turning their own systems against them. "How are they doing this?" Vale demanded, watching 3 of his ships go dark. "Their weapons, they're not following any known physics." In the space around Europa, Imperial ships found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to know all their weaknesses. Centuries of unchallenged dominance had made the Empire's military predictable. Humans, on the other hand, had spent generations preparing for every possible type of space combat. Captain Lisa's voice crackled across all frequencies, reaching every Imperial ship. "This is your only warning. Retreat now, or we'll be forced to demonstrate our full capabilities." Vale slammed his fist on his command console. "Never. The Empire does not retreat from primitives. All ships, launch planet-killer missiles. If we can't have this moon, no one will." The Empire's most devastating weapons launched toward Europa. Vale smiled, knowing nothing could stop these missiles once launched. His smile faded as small human interceptors moved to meet them. "Sir," his weapons officer reported, fear in his voice, "the humans are. They're redirecting our missiles through some kind of gravity manipulation technology. They're sending them back at us." Vale watched in horror as his own planet-killer missiles turned around, now aimed at his fleet. Impossible. That technology was deemed theoretically impossible by our best scientists. Evasive action. Vale screamed, but it was too late. His own weapons, turned against him, tore through his fleet's shields like they weren't there. 5 Imperial capital ships erupted in silent explosions. From her command chair, Captain Lisa opened a channel to Earth Command. Attack repelled. The Empire just learned their first real lesson about humanity. We don't just defend. We prepare, we adapt, and we overcome. As the surviving Imperial ships retreated in disarray, Vale received a message from the Imperial Senate. His failed attack on civilian targets had crossed a line. Now the full might of Earth's military would be unleashed, and the Empire had no idea what other surprises humans had been hiding all these centuries. The Empire's fatal mistake wasn't just attacking humans. It was assuming they knew what humans were capable of. As Vale's damaged ship limped away from Europa, he finally understood the warning they had given. They should have run while they had the chance. The Imperial High Command Room fell silent as Vale finished his report. 20 of the Empire's highest-ranking commanders sat around a massive table, their silver faces reflecting the holographic display of their recent defeats. "So the humans hid their true technology all this time," said First Commander Rex, the oldest among them. "But how? Our exploration ships have watched them for 50 years. They fooled us," Vale admitted, his pride still hurting. "Every satellite we saw, every ship we scanned, all decoys. Their real fleet stayed hidden underground, underwater, and inside asteroids." The hologram changed to show captured footage of human ships in action. The smaller vessels moved in ways that defied Imperial naval doctrine, while their larger ships seemed to appear and disappear at will. "Most disturbing," Rex said, "is their knowledge of our weaknesses. They knew exactly how to counter our shields, our weapons, even our battle formations." A junior commander raised his hand. "Sir, we found something in the archives. 200 years ago, 3 of our scout ships went missing in the Sol system. We thought they were lost to asteroids." Vale's eyes widened. "The humans shot them down. They've been studying our technology for centuries." "Worse," the junior commander continued. "They didn't just study the ships, they improved them. Everything we're seeing, their quantum weapons, their gravity drives, their AI systems, they're all advanced versions of our own technology." In space near Saturn, Admiral Thomas watched the gathered human fleet with pride. 500 ships, each one carrying technology that had been carefully developed and hidden from alien eyes. Unlike the Empire's identical mass-produced vessels, every human ship was unique, modified, and improved by its crew. "Status report." He called out to his bridge crew. "Imperial fleet movements suggest they're gathering for a major attack," his tactical officer reported. "They're bringing in ships from 3 sectors. Estimate 2,000 vessels." Thomas nodded. The Empire still thought numbers would win this war. They hadn't learned yet. "Deploy the Ghost Squadron," he ordered. "Let's show them another human surprise." 50 small ships detached from the main fleet. These vessels, completely black and barely larger than fighter craft, had never been used in battle before. They were humanity's ultimate stealth weapon, designed to be invisible to every known form of detection. Back in the Imperial command room, alerts suddenly blared. "Multiple ships lost in Sector 7. An officer shouted. "No warning, no weapons detected. They're just shutting down." The Ghost Squadron struck like a swarm of invisible predators. Their special quantum disruptors didn't damage Imperial ships. They simply turned them off, leaving them floating helplessly in space. No Imperial sensor could detect them, no shield could stop them, and no countermeasure seemed to work. "Impossible." Vale slammed his fist down. "No species can have this level of technology without us knowing." "You've never looked in the right places," came a voice over their command channel. Admiral Thomas's face appeared on their screen. "While you watched our space stations and satellites, our real work was happening in hidden bases all across our solar system. We knew you were coming someday. We prepared." The Ghost Squadron continued its work, systematically shutting down Imperial ships without firing a single traditional weapon. The Empire's mighty fleet, which had conquered 1,000 worlds, found itself helpless against an enemy they couldn't even see. "Perhaps," Rex said slowly, "we should consider diplomatic options. Surrender to primitives." Vale spat the words. "Look around." Rex gestured at the reports of disabled ships still flowing in. "They're not primitives. They never were. They're what we fear most, an intelligent species that had time to prepare, learn, and advance without our interference." As the Imperial commanders argued, Admiral Thomas sent a message to all human ships. Phase 1 complete. The Empire now knows we can defeat them. Prepare for Phase 2, showing them why starting this war was the worst mistake they've ever made. The Empire had finally learned to fear humans, but they still didn't know about humanity's biggest secrets, waiting to be revealed. The real war was just beginning. Deep within Earth's secret military base under the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Thomas stood before the World Defense Council. The massive screen behind him showed the disabled Imperial ships floating helplessly in space. The Ghost Squadron worked perfectly, he reported, but the Empire is adapting. They're developing new scanning systems. It's time to use our ultimate weapon. The council members looked at each other nervously. One of them, an older woman named Anna, spoke up. The dark matter device has never been tested in actual combat. Are you sure? The Empire is gathering their largest fleet ever, Thomas replied. 5,000 ships. They plan to attack Earth directly. We need to show them our real power. In his flagship above Mars, High Commander Vale prepared for what he promised would be the final battle against humanity. His scientists had worked day and night to upgrade their sensors and shields. This time, we'll crush them with pure numbers, he told his officers. No human trick can stop 5,000 ships. Suddenly, his communication officer jumped up. Sir, we're being hacked. Something is breaking through all our firewalls. Vale rushed to the console. Impossible. Our encryption is unbreakable. The main screen lit up with Admiral Thomas's face. High Commander Vale. One last chance to retreat. What you've seen so far was just our basic technology. You don't want to see what comes next. Vale laughed. Your tricks don't scare us anymore. We've upgraded our... Your upgrades won't help, Thomas interrupted. While you were busy with our Ghost Squadron, we broke your entire encryption system. Right now, we're downloading every military secret the Empire has. Vale's silver face turned pale. You're bluffing. Sector defense codes, ship weaknesses, personal files, Thomas listed calmly. Oh, and we particularly enjoyed reading your private messages about hiding your failures from the Imperial Senate. Warning alarms suddenly blared across the Imperial fleet. Every ship's computer system began displaying classified Empire data, proving Thomas's words true. How? Vale whispered. Even our best AIs couldn't break that encryption. We don't just use AI, Thomas explained. We combined it with human creativity. Your systems are logical, predictable. Ours are not. Vale straightened his uniform. It doesn't matter. You can't stop 5,000 ships. All vessels, attack formation. Thomas shook his head sadly. We warned you. He pressed a button on his chair. Activate the dark matter device. In the space between Earth and Mars, something impossible happened. A sphere of pure darkness appeared, growing larger by the second. Imperial sensors couldn't detect it, not because it was hidden, but because it was made of matter that didn't interact with normal space. All ships, fire, Vale ordered. Energy beams and missiles streaked toward Earth. The dark sphere expanded suddenly, engulfing a quarter of the Imperial fleet. Where it touched, ships simply disappeared. Not destroyed, not damaged. They ceased to exist in normal space. What is this weapon? Vale demanded, real fear in his voice for the first time. We call it the Eraser, Thomas replied. It sends anything it touches into a pocket dimension. Don't worry. We can bring your ships back, if you surrender. As Vale watched in horror, 3 more dark spheres appeared, surrounding his fleet. 1,000 Imperial ships vanished in seconds. His tactical officer spoke in a shaking voice. Sir, we're receiving messages from 20 Imperial worlds. They're asking to open diplomatic channels with Earth. They say they don't want to fight humans anymore. Vale slumped in his chair, the Empire's greatest fleet, defeated not by violence, but by technology so advanced it seemed like magic. And worse, humans had even more weapons they hadn't revealed yet. Well, High Commander, Thomas asked. Ready to talk peace, or should we demonstrate our other new toys? For the first time in its history, the mighty Galactic Empire was facing an enemy it couldn't beat. The war's turning point had arrived, and everyone knew it. Humanity had not just survived. They had changed the galaxy forever. In the Imperial Senate's emergency chamber, High Commander Vale faced angry questions from every direction. The loss of thousands of ships to Earth's dark matter weapon had shaken the Empire's confidence. You promised an easy victory, one senator shouted. Now we're losing planets to these humans. Vale raised his hands for silence. I have received permission to use the Sun Killer. Earth's star will be destroyed, ending this threat once and for all. The chamber went quiet. The Sun Killer was the Empire's most terrible weapon, kept secret for centuries. No species had ever survived its use. The weapon is already on its way, Vale announced with a cold smile. In 24 hours, Earth's solar system will be nothing but frozen debris. Back on Earth, in the underground command center, Admiral Thomas received the warning from their deep space sensors. Massive object detected, moving at high speed toward our sun. Energy readings are off the charts. Captain Lisa, now commanding Earth's Special Weapons Division, pulled up the sensor data. It's bigger than anything we've seen before. Some kind of stellar weapon. Thomas nodded grimly. The Empire's getting desperate. They're trying to destroy our sun. He pressed a button on his chair. Activate the solar shield network. Across the solar system, hidden satellites began powering up. For 50 years, humans had been building a defensive web around their sun, preparing for exactly this kind of attack. Thousands of small devices, each one powered by a microfusion reactor, formed an energy barrier around the entire star. Vale watched from his command ship as the Sun Killer approached its target. The massive black vessel, as large as a small moon, had destroyed 7 civilizations before. None had ever detected it coming. Sir, his sensor officer called out. Something strange is happening around Earth's sun. The solar shield network activated fully, creating a shimmering barrier of pure energy around the star. The Sun Killer's beam struck this shield and scattered harmlessly into space. No. Vale slammed his control panel. Fire again. The Sun Killer charged its main weapon and fired 3 more times. Each shot splashed against the human defense system like water on glass. Admiral Thomas opened a channel to Vale's ship. Surprised. We've had a long time to think about every way someone might try to destroy Earth. Did you really think we wouldn't protect our own star? Before Vale could respond, Captain Lisa's voice cut in. Admiral, the Empire's weapon is powering up for a maximum strength shot. It might break through. Activate Plan B, Thomas ordered calmly. Across the solar system, hidden human bases on asteroids, moons, and planets revealed themselves. Massive energy cannons emerged from their surfaces, all aimed at the Sun Killer. Last chance to retreat, Thomas warned Vale. That weapon took you centuries to build, didn't it? Would be a shame if something happened to it. Vale laughed. Nothing can destroy the Sun Killer. Its armor has resisted everything in the galaxy. But you've never faced human weapons before, Thomas replied. All batteries. Fire. Thousands of quantum beams struck the Sun Killer simultaneously. The massive weapon's armor, thought to be indestructible, began to crack. Vale watched in horror as his ultimate weapon started breaking apart. Impossible, he shouted. The armor, it's quantum locked. Nothing should be able to damage it. We found a way, Thomas explained, just like we found a way to defend against everything else you've tried. Want to know how many more surprises we have waiting? The Sun Killer exploded in a flash of light bright enough to be seen across the galaxy. The Empire's greatest weapon, destroyed in minutes by human technology. In the Imperial Senate chamber, panic broke out. If humans could destroy the Sun Killer, what else could they do? Several more worlds immediately announced they were seeking peace with Earth. Vale stared at the debris field that had been his ultimate weapon. For the first time, he understood the full truth. Humans hadn't just prepared for war. They had prepared for every possible type of war. The Empire hadn't just picked a fight with another species. They had awakened a sleeping giant that had spent centuries getting ready for this exact moment. And Earth still hadn't shown all its cards. The Imperial command ship's corridors were unusually quiet as Commander Dale walked toward the bridge. After 30 years of loyal service to the Empire, he had made a decision that would change everything. "High Commander Vale," he announced, entering the bridge. "I'm here to report treason." Vale turned from his tactical display. "More worlds supporting the humans." "No, sir." Dale stood straight. "I'm here to report my own treason. And I'm not alone." The bridge erupted in activity as half the crew stood up, drawing weapons. They were all loyal to Dale, not Vale. Years of the Empire's harsh rule had finally reached a breaking point. "What is this?" Vale demanded, his face twisting in anger. "We've seen what humans can do," Dale explained. "But more importantly, we've seen how they choose not to do certain things. They could have destroyed our worlds. Instead, they only target military ships. They warn us before attacking. They even return our captured crews." Vale reached for his emergency button, but found it disabled. "You're all traitors." "No," Dale replied calmly. "We're the future. A third of the Imperial fleet has already secretly contacted Earth. We're tired of endless wars and conquered worlds. The humans have shown us a better way." Across the Empire's vast territory, similar scenes played out on hundreds of ships. Imperial officers, inspired by Earth's example, chose to stand against their own government. In Earth's underwater command center, Admiral Thomas watched the reports coming in. "Another 50 Imperial ships have declared their independence," his communications officer reported. "They're requesting our protection." Captain Lisa smiled. "Our plan worked perfectly. Showing mercy was more powerful than any weapon." "Humans understand rebellion," Thomas said. "We've had enough revolutions in our history to know how they work. The Empire's biggest mistake wasn't attacking us. It was letting their own people see how we treat our enemies." A new message flashed on the main screen. The Imperial Senate was in chaos. Videos of human ships protecting civilian targets, helping damaged Imperial vessels, and showing mercy to defeated enemies had spread across the Empire's networks. Earth's communication specialists had made sure every Imperial citizen saw the difference between their rulers and humanity. Vale's voice suddenly boomed through all channels. "This is your supreme commander. Any ship or world supporting the humans will be destroyed. I still command the loyalty of enough ships to." His transmission cut off as Dale's forces took control of the command ship systems. "This is Commander Dale to all Imperial forces. The time has come to choose. Will you stand with the old empire of fear or join a new future?" The response was overwhelming. Ship after ship, world after world, declared their support for the rebellion. The Empire's iron grip on the galaxy was breaking. Thomas opened a channel to all ships, Imperial and human alike. "This is Admiral Thomas of Earth. To all those who choose peace, we offer protection and aid. To those who still want war." He paused. "Well, we still have plenty of surprises left." In his command chair, now under guard, Vale watched his empire crumble. "Why?" he asked Dale. "Why betray everything we built?" "Because humans showed us what we could be," Dale answered. "They beat our strongest weapons, but never used their power for revenge. They could have conquered us, but offered friendship instead. That's real strength." The news spread quickly through the galaxy. The mighty empire, undefeated for 1,000 years, was falling not to Earth's superior weapons, but to its ideas. Freedom, mercy, and cooperation proved more powerful than any fleet. Captain Lisa turned to Admiral Thomas. "Should we show them our remaining weapons?" Thomas shook his head, smiling. "Keep them secret. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's knowing when not to use it. The Empire is ending not because we destroyed it, but because we showed its people a better way. And across the stars, a new era was beginning. The species that the Empire had dismissed as primitive was teaching them the most advanced lesson of all. True power comes not from weapons, but from wisdom. 1 month after the Great Rebellion, the massive meeting hall on Earth's lunar base Alpha was filled with representatives from across the galaxy. Former Imperial worlds sat beside human delegates, all gathered to sign the historic Galactic Peace Treaty. Admiral Thomas stood at the main podium, looking out at the diverse crowd. Silver-skinned Imperial citizens mixed with humans and representatives from previously conquered worlds. Next to him stood Commander Dale, now leading the reformed Imperial forces. 3 months ago, Thomas began, the Empire thought they found a primitive species easy to conquer. Instead, they found humanity, a species that had spent centuries preparing not just for war, but for peace. In the front row, High Commander Vale sat under guard, forced to watch his empire transform. His face showed no emotion, but his hands trembled slightly. Today, Thomas continued, we're not here to celebrate victory. We're here to build something new. A galactic alliance where all species work together, where technology serves peace instead of war. Commander Dale stepped forward. The Empire's time of conquest is over. We've seen what humans achieve by combining creativity with technology. They didn't just beat us. They showed us a better way to live. The hall's main screen lit up, showing the changes already happening. Former Imperial warships were being converted into exploration vessels. The Empire's rigid military structure was being replaced by a cooperative defense force. Even their technology was being reimagined for peaceful purposes. But humans aren't taking control, Thomas assured the gathered representatives. We're offering partnership. Each world will govern itself, while we all work together for common goals. Captain Lisa, standing nearby, activated a holographic display showing Earth's latest projects. We're opening our science and technology institutes to all species. Together, we'll explore the galaxy not to conquer, but to learn. Vale finally spoke up from his seat. And your weapons? The dark matter device, the Ghost Squadron. Will humans keep all their secrets? Thomas smiled. Some, yes. We learned from history that peace works best when backed by strength. But we'll share most of our technology, except the weapons. Think of it as insurance. The crowd chuckled. Everyone understood. Humans would remain the guardians of peace, keeping their most powerful weapons secret while sharing everything else. Commander Dale raised his hand. The vote will now begin. All worlds who wish to join the new Galactic Alliance, please signal now. The massive screen filled with green lights as world after world voted yes. Even some of Vale's most loyal worlds chose to join. The old empire was truly ending, replaced by something new and better. There's one more thing, Thomas announced. Our deep space sensors have detected other galactic civilizations approaching our region of space. Some may be peaceful, others may not. That's why humanity will continue to prepare, to innovate, and to protect. He turned to Vale. We warned you to run. Instead, you helped us create something greater than either humans or the Empire could have built alone. Vale looked up, speaking softly. You had all this power, these weapons we never imagined. You could have destroyed us all. Why didn't you? Because that's not who we are, Thomas replied. Humans don't want to rule the galaxy. We just want to make sure nobody else does either. Freedom is worth protecting. The ceremony concluded with the signing of the treaty. As the delegates celebrated, Thomas looked out the window at Earth shining below. Humanity had faced its first galactic war and emerged stronger, not through conquest, but through wisdom. Ready the deep space fleet, he quietly told Captain Lisa. There are more civilizations out there, and they need to learn the same lesson the Empire did. Don't underestimate humans. We're not primitive, we're not weak, and we're not alone anymore. The galaxy had changed forever. The species everyone thought was easy prey had become the guardian of peace, and if anyone else made the Empire's mistake of threatening that peace, Well, humanity still had plenty of surprises left. The end.